brand new year, it's 2020. Those of you who are out there missing a good old Ulster Fry, we're going to show you today how to make some potato bread and how to make some soda bread. It's very, very easy. It's so quick you can do both in one go. Okay, so let's have a look at the ingredients. Very important within both these breads is our flour. Now at the minute I'm using soda bread flour, which is self-raising. This is specifically sort of engineered for Irish bread, but you can use self-raising flour. We have 2 pounds of potatoes, which is about 900 grams. We got some bicarbonate of soda, some buttermilk, a few bay leaves to put our potatoes in, and a measuring jug and some salt. Okay. Now what we do have, which is has come to us as a Christmas present. Thank you, Liam Jordan from Rentel, for giving us this piece of kit. This is an electric griddle. Again, you can use a flat pan with no water or anything like that in it. But this is our first run out today on our new electric griddle, so we're looking forward to that as well. So when cooking our potatoes, I do like to keep them whole. These are rooster potatoes. You could use Maris Pepper, you could use Navan, but albeit you really want a good, fluffy, floury potato. Now we don't use too much water in it. Okay, just about halfway up the potatoes. Good pinch of salt. Okay, and then we're going to get a lid on these and boil them down about half an hour to 40 minutes for these things. So then we just add a little bit of bay leaf if you've got it. Lid on, and we'll see you soon. Okay, so these potatoes have had, I don't know, maybe 40-45 minutes, just nice and gentle. We brought them up to the boil and let that simmer away, but you'll see what tends to happen is that they just start to break apart. So we've peeled our potatoes. They're still a bit hot. You can see how beautifully fluffy they are. To add to our 900 grams of potato, we need about 120 grams of flour. It's not an awful lot of flour, okay? So what I'm going to do is just straight onto our surface, just give that a good sieve. And what I'm going to do is add into that about a half teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of baking powder. Just sieve that through as well. These potatoes are still hot. Well, they're just sort of, they're not roasting hot. They're just sort of still quite warm, and it makes it much easier to work with. Okay, and it feels lovely on this cold winter day that this nice bit of heat coming through your hands here. But we just mix that all through, and if it's a wee bit sticky, which it feels ever so slightly sticky at the minute, just add a little bit more flour. Okay, that's about it. Now you don't want to overwork this at all, otherwise you'll just end up with gloop. But that's pretty much about it. And this is going to make a good 8 potato farls. Okay. Now for our soda bread, we need 750 grams of our soda bread flour. And into that, again, we're going to have another half teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of sodium bicarbonate. So let's sieve this in. It's not even that it takes lumps out, it just puts a lot of air into the mix. And really what you want to do is create a lovely light soda. Done? Okay. And I just make a little well in the center of that. So into our 750 grams of flour, then we put 350 grams, about 370 maybe, of our buttermilk. So there you go. Now don't use this all in one go, okay? Just get it in, back of a spoon, and you'll be able to tell the mixture because you don't want it too wet. Probably going to take all of this, but you want a reasonably sticky mixture. And to be honest with you, that's pretty good. Okay, see the way that just kind of comes together like that? That's pretty good. And this really does feel so light. It's It's actually wonderful. Now you don't want to knead the air out of this too much. All we want to do is to create that into like a little ball. The flour on the board. Get that back into a nice little circle again. Okay. And now I tend not to use a rolling pin. These are much thinner than the soda bread. Okay, the soda bread's a bit thicker, but you want these because there will be a little bit of a swell in these, you know. But that's a good sized potato bread. There. Okay. We cut that into quarters. Our griddle is sitting at it's well heated, but she's sitting at a medium heat here. So out of 12 that it goes up to, it's sitting at about 7 at the minute. Okay. The thing about these guys is that, you know, you don't have to use these for breakfast. You know, these are very good for dinner. You know, you can put anything on top of that. You could do sausages and onion gravy or something. You know, having them is great. What I like to do is cook them off and then freeze them. To be honest with you, once the smell of these things comes up and people start eating them, you're like, I'm eating them now. Back onto our soda bread. Okay, let's get that into a nice little mound. Now this time you sort of want these about the sort of width of your thumb. Traditionally, soda bread is cut into quarters as well. So let's get those on. Our soda bread will take slightly longer to do than the potato bread. Normally you would use these for about 10 minutes a side, whereas the potato bread is about 5 minutes a side. And I can already start to smell that potato bread coming through. So our potato bread is almost done. Now it's time to flip our soda bread. And you'll see just how lovely and browned up that is. So now that we have all our bread made, we've got our sodas and we've got our potato bread. Traditionally, this would have been made at night in the households in Ireland, and it would have been made every day. But what we're going to add to this to make it into an Ulster Fry is some mushroom, some egg, a little bit of bacon, some tomato, beautiful black pudding, and beef and pork sausage. Okay. So our bread goes on, make sure you get a bit of oil on it. For our Ulster Fry, I like to stack. Okay, so we have our potato bread on top of our soda.